Hello, everyone. My name is Misty Hayes. I will be your instructor for this course. So, welcome to Education 1030, the college experience. Hopefully, this week you've had a chance to go through the welcome message on the course homepage, which is the page that we are on. So, anytime you log into a course, you will be on what we call the course homepage. The course homepage is good because not only does it house our course calendar here to the right, but you're also going to see what we call the news items. So, this is going to be just like a newsletter, a news bulletin. I will do this every week. I will put a message that just kind of tells you exactly what you need to be doing for the week, as well as a video, as I'm doing now. So, the videos are good for those who are visual learners. It's really going to walk you through kind of the expectations for each week and what you need to accomplish. So just make sure that every time you get in that you're looking at that news item. The other thing that I wanted to draw your attention to is if you are not familiar with eLearn, there is a resource under the Student Help Desk tab. The Student Help tab is wonderful because it has eLearn video series. So this is going to help you navigate eLearn if you're unfamiliar with the D2L platform. It also has a PDF guide if you prefer to read instead of watch the videos. So this will just help you navigate through eLearn. How do you take quizzes? How do you post on a discussion board? How do you find your content? How do you email someone? So they're quite helpful. So just make sure that you are looking at that. Another thing that I want to go over real quick before we get into our very first module is that at the top you're going to see tabs, and this is really going to be how you're going to navigate the content. So, content will be always under course information. You have your grades there so you can see what you've made. Then you have communication, which is how you can email or do discussions. And assessments is how you're going to submit things. So it's either how you're going to submit quizzes, submit an assignment to Dropbox, which is where you would turn assignments in, or again, you can get to discussions that way as well. The resources are just resources here on campus, such as testing, counseling, Student Success Center, the Math and Writing Lab, student tutoring, so you could book a tutoring session, the library, campus bookstore. So those resources are there for you as well. And again, just as I mentioned, you have um, the student help desk, which would be IT related issues, as well as your eLearn series that I spoke about earlier. Course Tools is going to help you with who is in our class, as well as seeing your own class progress, is how you work through the course material. So that's just a couple of pieces of information that might help you as well. So if you look at the top, it's going to have our title of our course as well as this little widget or window pane, as I like to call it. That just is going to be another way that you can get to your courses. It'll show you your schedule, if you will, and that's how you can go ahead and click from one course to the next. The envelope, that is how you will get mail. If you notice here, there is a little orange circle. That means you have a message from me or another student in the class. So make sure that you are paying attention to those dots. To get to it, you can click on the mail and hit email, or you can also get through it by clicking on the communication tab and select an email. The other thing I wanted to draw your attention to is you have something here that looks like a bell, and there is a circle. So this is notifications. This just means that someone's posted or commented on your discussion post, or there is something that's due. So it'll give you a calendar notification as well. So just make sure you're paying attention to the notification alert button as well as your email button. Now, I want to go ahead and dive into our first week. So, as I've mentioned, you hopefully have had a chance to read over the syllabus. And how you were going to do that is you were going to read the Getting Started module. The Getting Started module not only has our course syllabus, which is going to walk you through the course expectations, but it also talks about what are our learning outcomes for the course. What are you expected to be able to know and do when the course is over? Has accessibility statements, privacy policies, the student guide to eLearn of how you navigate through eLearn, as I mentioned. So there's another way to get to it if you don't go to the student help tab. And then any additional course information that's important that you may want to know, such as this course is actually a course where you can earn what we call a digital badge, which can help you later on for employment. So we'll get into that later, but that's there for you to read. So it was important for you to read through the course syllabus, not only for the course expectations, but you also have to take a quiz and email me if you have any questions from the syllabus itself. Now, after you completed the Getting Started module, and as you see, I'm navigating through each section, or we call these modules, through the table of contents. So here's your table of contents on the left-hand screen, left side of the screen. And I always tell students the best way to navigate the table of contents or through the modules is using the left-hand side of the screen here. So you can just click through, and you'll notice as I read each section, it's going to actually give you a check mark. The check mark means that you've read through the material. So as you progress through the course, it's going to track your class progress, which I can see of what you've went into, what have you read, how much percentage of the module have you completed. So that's also going to help you know what you have already went through and completed when you come back to it at a later time. At the top above Getting Started, you're going to see something that is called Office Hours Schedule. This is going to be something that is going to be helpful if you need to meet with me. So this is going to be my schedule where I am available and when I have class. I always put this up there every semester so students are welcome to meet with me. I do in-person meetings, I do virtual meetings through Teams, and I also do advising virtually and in person as well. So this schedule is just there for you. If you do want to meet with me, you can look at this schedule and then see if it would line with you. Email me and then we will set up a meeting. So that is there under the table of contents. So once you went through the Getting Started module, underneath it, you will see what we call the week one course and Water State Community College orientation. This is where you had to do things to account for your attendance the first week of classes. So, like I said, the first thing you've done when you logged on is read the welcome message, go through the syllabus, and then you're going to complete some items. Okay, so at the end of the Getting Started module and week one course orientation, you should have completed the syllabus quiz, the course pretest, um, introduce yourself on the discussion board and reply to two other students, and then know how to find your textbook. The other thing that I wanted you to do is I wanted you to make sure that you have downloaded and have the version of Microsoft Office 365. So this is important because in this course, all of our assignments are going to be in Word format. So Office 365 is free to students, are not free, but it's included in your tuition. So you need to make sure that you download and get Office 365 so you can complete your assignments. So make sure that you've completed that as well. Also, if you're one that likes a planner is really helpful. It helps you keep up with important dates, not only for this course, but any other classes that you might be taking. So, on each campus, they have Water State student planners that they give to the student free. So, pick one up. You can also use your phone or any kind of app you have to kind of keep you on track and manage your time. So, there are links to all of the things that I mentioned you should do. I did want to mention about the course pretest. You do not need to study for this. This pretest is just a chance for you to earn bonus points. It lets me know what you kind of know. It kind of gives me a baseline of where to start with you. And then at the end of the semester, you're going to take the same exact test and we're going to see your progress and see how much you've improved. So please do not fret about that. I will mention one thing that a student told me. They said that if you do not be careful of how you scroll, it could mark all the answers for you, like just mark the answers, and it may not be the one that you want. So be careful with the scrolling up and down because it will select random uh, answers for you. So just be mindful of that when you're scrolling on the pretest. The discussion board, you're just introducing yourself. So please read through this. There are questions that I ask you that I want you to answer. Excuse me. And then the other thing you're going to be doing is getting your textbook. Now, the textbook is free. We use something called Open Educational Resources. And we know that textbooks can be really expensive. It is a barrier for a lot of students, especially dual enrollment student if you're still or middle college students, if you will. So this textbook is completely free to you. How you're going to access it is you can do one of two things. You could go to OpenStax. So you would just type in OpenStax and it will take you to their website. You will select subjects and you will click on college success. Now, there are three here. You're going to be using the one that says college success right here on the left. And then you're going to download a PDF. Now, you do not have to download the PDF. I always say it's helpful if you like the book all in one place and you won't have to have access to internet to be able to read the textbook. So it might be helpful for you to go ahead and just download a PDF copy of the book. So you'll just have it and save it to your computer. The other thing I wanted to mention with the book is that the book is embedded inside of each module. So all the chapters are embedded in there for you. The only reason I mentioned going to OpenStax textbook is just because that's a good way for you to have it when you don't have internet available. There's also other important information on here about rubrics and what reading organizers are, how do you submit assignments to Dropbox, which you will be having to do this week, and then how to download the free Microsoft Office 365. So there is a link to it. If you have issues or you're unaware of how to do it once you look at it and you're still having trouble, I would just go ahead and click this link or contact the Water State Help Desk, the IT, which I said you can also get to IT by going under resources and then you will click, excuse me, student help. And then you will click Water State Student Help Desk, and that'll take you to IT, and they can help you download it if you're having trouble. I do want to preface if you have your own computer and it already has Microsoft Office 365, do not download this one that's included with your tuition because you will have issues. This is only if you do not already have Office 365 on your device. Okay, so just be aware. And if you have checked out a device from the library or from campus, they're loaning it to you for the semester, it may already have Office 365 on that computer. So just check before you start going and downloading something. Okay. So now that we went through all of the orientation and kind of how to navigate a little bit, I want to go ahead and get into your first week. Now, if you download the syllabus, which you should because it has our course schedule in there, and I'm going to show you just for a minute. So if you go to getting started, you can always find our syllabus there. There is a link and it will open it for you. I would suggest downloading it and saving it to your device. I would make folders for all your courses and do this because it tells you about expectations, AI, plagiarism. It has course calendar information in there, your textbook. what are your SLOs? Like, what are your learning outcomes for the semester? How are you going to be graded? What each things are worth? It's very important information. So it's good for you to get in the habit each semester to make a folder for your course on your computer and then download your syllabus and save it. Um, so I'm going to scroll down to show you the calendar here. The calendar is what we're going to go by. Now, if there are changes, I will let you know as soon as I can, but most of the time I stick to this calendar with the due dates. So this calendar is for spring 2026 semester. So we're going to be starting with week 1. One thing I want to note, this is different than some of the due dates that you've had in the past. So each week we are going to work on different assignments. And the way that I did this calendar is I have your week, like what week we're on, and tell you the title of it, the dates for that week, what modules and readings you're going to be working on, and then what assignments you have to do and assessments. So assessments is what you get a grade for. Okay, so like a quiz, or you turn something in, or you're doing a discussion board post. One thing that's a little different that you may not be used to is the due dates will open on Friday and they're due on Thursday. So every Thursday is when your assignments are due. And the content where you can get into each module or unit is going to open the Friday before. Okay, so every Friday, new module, new chapter. Then you have your assignment due on Thursday. So just keep up with that. That's why I said it's important to have this here. Write your dates down in your planner or your phone so you can keep up with. Just remember, due dates are always on Thursday and Friday before you can get into your content. Okay. So I want to go ahead and get us into module 1. Okay. And that's how I named each module is module 1 and then the title. So the first week is really going to be an introduction to college. So this course is called College Success, and it's really going to let you look at what resources are available for you, thinking about how this is so different than high school or what you're used to, the expectations in college as a student, and it's really going to dive in about managing times and setting goals and exploring the opportunities in college and start to develop what we call an academic plan of study and also become more familiar with eLearn, right? So in each course, I have it organized the same, excuse me, in each module, I have it organized the same. So you will have a little synopsis or summary of the module, what your course outcomes are. So course outcomes are a little bit different than module. Course outcomes are what you have to do by the end of the semester. Like this is what you're going to accomplish. And if you look at our syllabus here, it lists what the course outcomes. There's 5 student learning outcomes for you that you have to be able to master by the end of the semester. Now, all the work we do is going to help us get here. So you got your course outcomes, and then each module has its own outcomes. And these module objectives are going to help us reach those course outcomes. Okay, so some of the things that we're going to be working on with Module 1 is describe the differences between high school work and college, discuss how relationships will change when they are in college, identify campus resources for assisting with your transition, explain expectations of college courses and faculty, recognize the purpose and value of college, describe the transitional experience of the first year of college, discuss how to handle college culture and expectations, and identify resources in this text and on your campus for supporting your college success. So those are your objectives that are going to help you meet your course outcomes. Now, underneath the objectives and course outcomes, you're going to see assessments. Remember, assessments are how you're graded. So you're going to have a module quiz. Every module you'll have a quiz, and then you will also have some kind of homework assignment. So you'll either submit something to Dropbox or you will do a discussion board. And then you have an optional tool, which I suggest students do, and it's called a reading organizer. So think of a reading organizer as an outline. It's a study tool for you. It helps you prepare for quizzes, and it also helps you prepare for unit exams. Okay. So underneath all that is going to be all of the resources that's going to help you. So you're going to have your textbook, you're going to have what are the definitions or key terms and concepts that you're going to be focusing on in this module. So module 1, here are your key terms and content or concepts we're going to look at, right? What do these words mean? Academic adjustment, cultural adjustment, emotional adjustment, financial adjustment, intellectual adjustment, social, attendance policy, final exam, learning, office hours, plagiarism, study, syllabus, and your why. So all of these are concepts we're going to be focusing on. Okay. Underneath that, you're going to have your organizer. Now remember, I said this is optional, but I do want to mention that not only is this a good study tool, but when we get ready to do exams, I will ask or send an email out asking students to send me their reading organizers, and you can get bonus points on exams for completing them. Okay. So this just helps give you a little bit more, and I'm going to show you what they look like. So when you click on it, you can download it. You'll see here that you will, once you download it, it'll come up like this where it is an editable, you can edit this Word document. So you can type directly in it. Now, all of the quizzes and exams come from the textbook. So there's no tricks here. Everything is coming from the textbook. So this is really good if you're reading your chapters. You can type in there, and you can use it as a study tool. So there is no place in the Dropbox for you to submit them. You just will complete them, hold on to them, help you study, and then when it is exam time, I will ask you to email them to me. So that's an option for you to earn bonus points and a study tool. Now, underneath the reading organizer, you will always see your textbook link. So remember, I said the textbook's embedded. So if you click on it, you're going to see the very first page. We're starting with chapter 1 in module 1. Okay. So what you'll do is you will read it, or you can just download the PDF and read chapter 1, right? So after you read a page, you will just click the up arrow, and there may be 2 or 3 pages in each section. Like we're starting in section 1.1, right? So there may be multiple pages, and you'll just read through the content, and then you will just click over, and it'll take you to the next one. Okay, section 1.2. So the textbook's already there for you. You can use it however you feel works best for you. Now, at the end of the textbook, there are going to be some more resources. So sometimes I will give you a link to a video like this one. This one is about how one person can change the world. The next video is how to set SMART goals. Okay. And then after you click, and this is a great way to go through the content is using the arrows. So if you click to the left, it'll take you back. If you click forward, it's going to take you to the next section. But at the end of reading your chapter, and then doing the videos or whatever link it gives you, then you take your module quiz. Now you'll see here on the assessment parts where you're turning something in for a grade, you're going to see due dates, right? So it opens Friday, January 23rd, and it's due on Thursday, January 29th. Everything is due Thursday at 11:30 p.m. Okay. So just make sure you keep that in mind. And then underneath the quiz is going to be an assignment. So it's either going to be a discussion post or a assignment you submit. So the first one is going to be what we call a resource worksheet. So you're going to use the Water State homepage to help you. So what I tell students to do is you're going to go to the Water State homepage. Okay, so you can type in Water State Community College, and you're going to use it to complete this chart. Now, The Water State homepage, when you click on it, you're going to see it has different tabs at the top, kind of like eLearn, right? So when you're doing this, what I want you to do is I want you to kind of find it like a scavenger hunt. I want you to tell me where or right in here where the building and office number is for each office area. So all of these resources are available to you as a Water State students. We have the Student Success Center, we have the writing lab, math lab, tutoring, computer IET help desk, academic advisor. There is an academic advisor for student success, but I want you to look at which one is for your discipline. So if you are a nursing, say, a nursing student, your advisor would need to come from health programs. So you may have to dig a little bit deeper, or you may already know who your advisor is because you met with them before you started the semester. You have Veterans Center and then ESL Academic Enrichment. Okay, so this would be English as a second language. So what you're going to do is on the home page, you're going to go through, and if you'll see, as I click on the tab or hover over them, there is going to be a drop-down menu that you can kind of just search. And I'm not going to go through it too much because I want you to play with it. I want you to get to know the home page. I want you to get to know each tab and the different areas, right? So veteran services was one on that was on our worksheet. You'll see it's there, right? Student services, student central. So I want you to find them using the tabs. You can also type in the box at the top, the search box, and it might take you to some of these area. The thing to remember is you're just playing around with the website and trying to locate these offices. You're going to tell me their building, office number, telephone, email address if it's available. And then after that, I want you to tell me what services this office provides to students. So let's go back and try veteran services. So let's say I am going to be doing veteran services box. When you first get into it, on the left side is where you're going to find where they're located, right? So what room, their phone number, and then to the right, you're going to see a little synopsis about what they do. Now, some students like to copy and paste. I would say that's a lot to put in this box. What I suggest students do is just sum up what they do, right? You can put it in your own words. What does this office do to support students? And you're going to complete it for all of this. Now, I do want to preface, I've had students do this in the past. You must download the assignment first. If you do not download it and you just type directly in the box, right? So if you just type in here directly, it is not going to save it for you. So make sure you hit the download button. So right here, you're going to see download at the top. You also have it down at the bottom. Okay. I have some students ask if they can print it out. Where we're online and we have to keep track of student work, you cannot hand out or mail me out paper, handwritten papers. I've had students print it out, write it out, and then take a picture of it and submit it. I will say it's best just to download and type, even if you're not a typer, because think about penmanship and reading it. Sometimes it's difficult for me to read depending on your handwriting. So it's best just to download and type in the actual boxes. So once you type in, you will hit file and you will hit save as, and then you're going to save it to your device. Okay. Like I said, that's why it's helpful for you to make folders for each course. That way you can know what course is for what. And then always leave it like it is, where it gives you the title, Chapter 1, Water State Resources. And that just helps you when you're going back to look at it. Okay. Now, if I go back to where I was just at, you're going to see a link. There's always a link to the Dropbox, but there is another way to get to the Dropbox. Okay, so if you click on this, it's going to take you where you have to submit an assignment. So let me go in as a student so you'll see my view. So if you go into course information, we're back at module 1, and then if you click on the resources Dropbox, you're going to see it'll say no submissions yet. So if you've not submitted it, it's not going to show anything there. You'll notice too, it shows when it's available. If there's nothing for you to click on or submit, that means it's not open yet for you to do that. Okay, so you can actually start submitting your work until it opens. So keep that in mind. So you will hit upload and then you will locate your file. So let's say this is my file and I'm going to hit open. Excuse me. And then you will see a button that says submit to Dropbox and you will just hit submit and it'll say file submitted. So one thing that note that there's more than one way to get to it. I always give you the link there next to the assignment, but you can also submit it by going to assessments and clicking on Dropbox. And when you click on Dropbox, you're going to see that the Dropbox comes up. Now, there are lots of different assignments in the Dropbox. Please make sure you scroll down to the first one that matches what we're doing. So for instance, this first one is just a practice Dropbox. This is just for you to practice submitting things. You didn't have to do it. I just put that there because some students like to practice putting them in there before they actually do their work. The next assignment Dropbox section is for late assignments. Now, there is a section in your syllabus about late work. Please read that. Then we're moving into our first unit, Module 1. So make sure that you don't accidentally submit something in the wrong Dropbox. So make sure you check it before you just go and click on it. So we're in Unit 1, Intro to College Success, Module 1, Water State Resources. So this is the one I need to submit. Okay, it also always will give you the rubric. The rubric is great because it lets you know how you're going to be graded on this assignment. And it shows you what I'm looking for. So how I grade you on criteria is on three things. So you're going to do content accuracy, if you did what you were supposed to, grammar, because we do need to learn how to be a college writer, and then the length. Did you give the amount that I asked for? Okay, so if it is expected work, that's you're doing what you're supposed to, right? You can get up to 20 points on this, and it shows you how I break down content. You get 12, grammar, you get 4, length is 4. Um, Working toward means you're not quite there yet, but you're working on it. Okay, so 10, 1, and 3, and then below work means we have some work we need improvement. 8, 0, and 1, okay, for a possible of 20 points. And this gives you the overall score based on letter grades if you're used to that. Okay, so the same thing we did with the link earlier. If you want to submit something this way, you would just do add a file. You will hit my computer, upload, find your file that you want to do, and then you will hit add and then you will hit submit. So don't forget to submit. If you hit add, that does not make it go into Dropbox. So always make sure you hit the submit button. Okay, so that is going to be how you will do your first week assignment. And don't forget the quizzes. You will have a quiz at the end of each module. So let's go down to the quiz here. So you will have to do a quiz as well. Now, one thing I did want to mention about the quizzes. The quizzes, you have multiple attempts. So what that means is that you can take each module quiz within that time frame that I give you as many times as you like to try to get a better grade. I when the quiz owes when the quiz closes, I will take the highest graded attempt. So your highest attempt is what gets logged. So just keep that in mind. That's a great way also to use as a study tool. So also it uses a test bank, so meaning that it may generate the same questions, it may not, but it's a great way for you to try to get a higher grade on each quiz. So unfortunately, the unit exams are not that way. When we do a unit exam, it's only one attempt, but take advantage of the quizzes. So that will be all of Module 1 and a little bit of introduction into how to do eLearn and getting to see my face. And again, I will do these each week when content opens. They will always be on the course homepage. This one's a little long, I apologize. But because we're getting oriented and learning how to use things, and I had to talk through some extra things, that's why it's long, but it won't usually be this long unless it's heavy material. I will also, in addition to the video, just remind you of your assignments that are due that week and what you need to do. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Until next time, take care.